What's going on, everybody? What is going on? I apologize for the poor lighting. I didn't really have time to get everything set up. You can see my little white screen that I have back there for my video recording. But I just wanted to knock this out real quick. If you're offended by the use of my phrasing this, the zombie apocalypse, then so be it. But I wanted to get around YouTube's being very restrictive about using COVID-19 in their algorithm, but I wanted to get this out there to you right now. So I know in California a few days ago, they released an addendum for transactions which may or may not be affected, which may be affected by the current COVID-19 outbreak. Now, here in Texas, I knew it was just a matter of time before it came out after California released theirs, and I'm sure other states have been doing so. But I talked to a realtor that I know out in California, and they told me about that. But the Texas Association of Realtors just released their version of the form for use here in Texas, and I kind of wanted to go over that. So real estate here right now, as of right now, is hopping along. It's still going. It's in flux. We don't really know how much it's going to affect it, but we are seeing new listings here in the greater Houston market every day. We're seeing new transactions closing every day. I was out at a title company the past few days, and there's people there closing transactions, dropping off earnest money and contracts and stuff. Is it as hopping as it was? I don't know. Here we have just like everywhere else, I guess, because it's nationwide, there is a housing crisis. There are not enough houses available. And so we're just right now expect it to, in the next 30 to 90 days, with all this going on, it's going to affect it, but we're not quite sure exactly how much yet. And, who knows what's going to happen and what the government may do. But as of right now, people are still going to open houses. People are still checking it out. We're just being a little bit more cautious, I guess, with hand sanitizer and being sure what we're touching. There are some homeowners who have taken their homes off the market because they're just concerned, and I get it. But I'm just looking at the facts, and I know that things are going to get better, and this is all just temporary. We just kind of have to roll with the punches for now. And then I know within the 90 days, a lot of things are going to be returning mostly back to normal. Obviously, with the oil market, how it is, and with this affecting so many different businesses, and it's not over yet, but that's probably going to have an effect on just people's lives. But really, real quick, I wanted to talk about this form. So if you currently are under contract, definitely speak with your realtor about this new form that just got released. Like I said, it's the TXR 2520. It's the COVID-19 Addendum is what it's called here, but the actual form number is TXR 2520. Now, it's not a mandatory form. It is just one that needs to be used if applicable. It's optional. So if your transaction, if for whatever reason someone's under mandatory or voluntary quarantine and there's an unknown time period, it's definitely going to allow you. This is the form you're going to want to use. It's not always under all circumstances. It's not going to be the form you're going to want to use, because there are going to be some situations, even though the situation may affect the transaction, you can still use a regular contract addendum on it. But I did want to just share my original video from Facebook, FYI, but I guess they have some stuff going on and it wouldn't let me upload it here. So I'm doing another live video specifically for here. But so anyways, the use of this COVID-19 addendum is not mandatory, and it may not be appropriate in all circumstances. It's depending on the goals and needs of all the parties to use, whether to use this form or an existing form when appropriate. So for example, if all the parties want to negotiate an extension to the closing date to a definite day, then you can use the regular contract amendment form, the 1903 form, and just fill in the new date in paragraph 3. If you guys, you're under contract and you want to negotiate an extension to the time that the buyer has to obtain financing because lenders are overburdened, they have people who aren't showing up, and so they don't have enough hands on deck to process everything, you can still, if you want to extend that, you can still extend it using the regular contract addendum and update paragraph 7 of the contract. Now, if for whatever reason all the parties want to terminate the contract, you can just, despite what the contract may say and what the terms are, if everyone comes to an agreement, then obviously you can get out of the contract. You would just use the release of earnest money, the TXR 1904 form, and that will release the parties from any and all liabilities and duties that they're required under the sales contract. And then the parties, obviously using that form, agree to how to disperse that earnest money, whether the buyer is going to get all of it or they're going to share some with the seller or the seller is going to get all of it. So the COVID-19 pandemic is causing this unprecedented impact and uncertainty really right now in Texas real estate transactions. So voluntary and mandatory quarantines and closures of government and private offices can impede the ability of parties to successfully fund and close transactions. To address these uncertainties, TAR has created this COVID-19 Addendum, the TXR 2520. The COVID-19 Addendum provides for a 30-day extension of the closing date in a residential sales contract if the closing cannot occur due to a voluntary or mandatory COVID-19 quarantine or closure. If the closing cannot occur after the 30-day extension, either party may terminate the sales contract with the earnest money being returned to the buyer. This addendum also permits either party to terminate the sales contract with the buyer receiving the earnest money. If the buyer is unable to fund their loan beyond the time provided in the third-party financing addendum, maybe loss of income or another COVID-19 related issue, this extension is available if the delay in the closing is due to that. So like quarantine or closure that affects the buyer, the seller, or other service provider, including but not limited to the title company, lender, inspector, or appraiser. Now, the COVID-19 addendum can be used as an addendum in all new contracts as well, or to amend a currently executed contract. And, so whether it's the 1 in 4 residential resale contract, a new home contract, whether it's a home, single family home, or a condo, or even unapproved property, a new construction of a condo or a house, whether it's completed or not, this can all be added to that. But again, it's an optional form, and it's only if one of those, the traditional addendum form cannot apply. If you have questions about this, if you're currently under a real estate contract, definitely speak to your real estate agent. And then obviously, if you are considering selling and you want to see how things are affected and see what this form talks about, you can always reach out to me if you're in Texas, because this is only applicable to the state of Texas. If you're in another state, you're going to want to talk to an agent who is specific to your area or your state and be able to answer those questions for you. But again, if you're in Texas, specifically too, if you're in the greater Houston area, I definitely can give you even more details about that, because as you know, I am a realtor in the greater Houston area, specialize in areas like Katy and Fulshear and pretty much anywhere on the west side, as far north as the Woodlands and as far south as League City and Dickinson and even Galveston. At any rate, I hope you find that useful. Sorry, yes, a lot of the information I read directly from what TAR gave us, just because it's right there and it allows me just to throw it out. And so you literally now have the information that we realtors have in regards to this form. I'm not going to go over the specific form itself. If you have questions about that, again, if you're in Texas, definitely reach out to me. I'll be happy to tell you what my interpretation of what it says is. I am not an attorney, so I cannot give you legal advice as to what the contract says, but I can share the contract with you and I can give you my opinion of what I think it says, and it's strictly an opinion. But Buyers and sellers, as always, are advised to consult an attorney before they sign the form. At any rate, if you need to reach out to me, you can reach out by going to my digital business card at blainecruse.pro. You'll see links to my website, links to other important information, links to my lender partners, and you'll also see all my different social media accounts, and you can certainly connect with me however you wish on those. Anyways, take care. Hope you guys are doing okay, and if there's ever anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out. Thanks and take care.